Hi, welcome to Barron's, part of the Manor Park Classics group. It's our September sale, and we have got a fantastic selection of cars. Lots of great cars to get through, so I shall crack on straight away. Bellissimo! That's what the commendatore would have said, Enzo Ferrari. He said, of course, didn't he, that the best-looking car ever made was the Jaguar E Type, and this is an especially lovely example, mainly because it spent much of the last 50 years in Arizona, where it doesn't rain nearly as much as it is here today in Southampton or in my native Manchester. And that's why, probably, it's preserved so beautifully for you, perhaps, to enjoy. Now, there's one thing about this car that's quite different to when it left the factory in Coventry, and that's what's underneath this gorgeous bonnet, or hood, as the Americans would have called it, when they were replacing the Jaguar engine with a Chevy V8. Yes, the reliable, durable, smooth and powerful Chevy V8 lives underneath there, mated to a General Motors transmission, as they would have said when they were putting it in there. It's quite a popular thing. I actually myself went a few years ago to look at an E-Type in Los Angeles that had the Chevy V8. It wasn't in this condition. It was not in this condition. I didn't buy it. I bought a Daimler 66 or a Sovereign V12 as they call it instead, but that's another story for another day. Great paintwork, fantastic blood red leather interior, contrasts really well. A car that is in superb order. It's just had a new carburetor. We've got a big file of invoices for the money that's been spent on this car. It's in great condition. It looks fantastic, but of course the price reflects the fact that it's the non-original engine. We do have a Jaguar V12 on a pallet, which comes along with the purchase price of this motor car, and you can do with that as you please. The estimate, we reckon, £28,000 to £32,000 on the 73 Jaguar E-Type. Another British classic here, but a very different motor car, a very different proposition entirely. A motor car, but also at the same time, a vital piece of Britain's military defence. This one's ex-Royal Artillery. It's a Defender Wolf 110 REMUS, very different to a civilian Jaguar 110. It's got a reinforced rear axle, side lockers, anti-vibration matting, reinforced chassis. Left service in 2015. It's when it had done 85,833 miles. Very light civilian use since then. A lot of these military vehicles, for obvious reasons, have had a very hard life, and it shows. Not necessarily mechanically, because the military have to rely. It literally is a matter of life and death. So the mechanical condition is usually very good, and it is on this one. The cosmetic, it's not there. It's all bumped, it's all scratched, it's all torn, it's all worn. Not with this one. This one's in great condition, inside and outside. I tell you what, talk about a car with character and a lot more kit than you get on your standard Defender 110 of a similar vintage. 1998, this one, the estimate, we reckon, what it'll sell for on the day, our September sale here at Barron's, £16,000 to £17,000. Now, if we can just come around here, you'll see another British classic. We're all about British classics here at Barron's. And something rather special. Now, when other folk are binging Netflix, I'm reading old copies of Motoring magazine. And last night, I was reading the original test of this car in Car magazine back in the day. And it was done by, do you remember this fella? Alan Clark, the Right Honourable Alan Clark. He was an MP, yeah. His dad was Kenneth Clark, the guy who did Civilization for the BBC. And he was a big Bentley man, and he wrote the road test of this car. And he said, and he should have known because he had a lot of very, very nice cars, that this was the best handling, fast four-door car in the world. You got to remember, Bentley had come from the Turbo R. This car had to live up to that legacy, and it did in spades. The Rolls Royce version had the V12. This had the twin, was it turbocharged or supercharged? It was turbocharged BMW V8, but most of them were finished in Dubonnet, a deep dark red, a deep dark blue, a deep dark green. Very few were beluga black like this one. with beluga black leather in the interior. And cosmetically, this car is in absolutely fantastic condition. Supplied new by Bentley Edinburgh. It's just had 3 owners since in the last 20 years, and it's just had £4,000 service and then £2,000 on a cosmetic upgrade, and keeping this car in absolutely fantastic condition. Black on black, a Bentley Arnage T. Find another one. I bet you can't. We reckon, oh, this is criminally cheap, this one. What a car. And we reckon £12,000 to £15,000 is what it might go for in our sale. Look at the presence of it. It's got presence, hasn't it? Another car that can only be described as having presence. I'm going to say it again. It's just got like a sense of drama about it, this car. A 2007 Ford Shelby Mustang GT500. Eleanor homage, if you will. But don't go thinking that this car is your run-of-the-mill Ford Shelby Mustang GT500. Not that there is such a thing. Let me read you the list of modifications that have been made to what was already an incredibly impressive motor car. This one has got 541B injectors, a Kine Bell dual post pump, McLeod RXT clutch, a 6-speed manual with a Hurst short shifter, a B&R 200 amp alternator, front Brembo brakes, and 20-inch Ford racing wheels with LED tail lights to add, as it says here, not that it really needs it, a bit of visual flair. 800 brake horsepower at the crank. Oh, look at that Hurst shifter there with the sort of the 8-ball shifter. But the Mustang, the Shelby Mustang GT500 and the Cobra poised to strike there. 800 brake horsepower at the crank. How fantastic is that? What a car. And yours potentially in our sale. If you like this sort of thing, it really doesn't get better than this, does it? A bit of American, serious American muscle, and with the name to match, the Shelby name there, plus all those modifications, which would easily have come to more than we think the car will sell for this weekend. £26,000 to £28,000. The 2007, we reckon these are estimates. The 2007 Ford Shelby Mustang GT500. Walks this way. British classics, it's a theme of this sale, it seems. 1988, don't tell me, don't even ask. Oh, is it a classic already? Yeah, of course it is. This was a classic when it came out in 1988. The Ford Sierra RS Cosworth. A well-preserved, sympathetically restored example of this iconic rear-wheel drive performance saloon. Powered by the legendary Cosworth-tuned YBB turbo engine, it combines collectability, easy for me to say, with usable performance and, of course, practicality, because it was based on a Ford Sierra, like Britain's best-selling family car. The interior is clean and period correct. We've got the fabric seats, the original carpets, working sunroof, and a functioning, and this is rare, the display computer, which wasn't great, but this one is actually working after all these years. We've got the documentation, including the V5, a partial handbook set, 16 service stamps, various invoices and MOTs, a great example of a total classic. A Ford Sierra RS Cosworth 1988, the estimate £17,000 to £19,000. Bit of class over here. Not me, obviously. But the Aston Martin DB9, I think the best of modern Astons. And when I say modern Astons, I mean after the DB7. That's, you know, that for me, that's when the modern era of Aston started. Ian Callum designed the DB7, very successful car, but not like this. Not like this car. This is a 2013 DB9 V12 automatic. And it's in quantum silver, low mileage, 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds from its 510 brake horsepower, 6-litre V12 engines. Celebrity owned by a well-known guitarist, but they won't tell us which one. Was it Eric? Was it? He loves cars, doesn't he? But he likes Astons and Ferraris. No, not Aston. This is an Aston. He likes Alphas and Ferraris, Eric Clapton, doesn't he? But you never know. He might have gone to the dark side with this gorgeous Aston Martin. We reckon this one might sell. Look at this car. Can you imagine owning this car for between £36,000 and £40,000? We've got a solid service history with it. 6 anti-corrosion checks, 7 main dealer service stamps, mostly from Aston Martin, Walton-on-Thames. That's classic rock star territory, isn't it? Walton-on-Thames. I bet it's Eric Clapton. We can't tell you who it is. That's just my guess. It might be somebody else entirely, but probably. £36,000 to £40,000. That is a hell of a car. And remember, that's only an estimate. Here's something different. Well, different from that. Pure class. Again, not me, the car. 1947 Jaguar SS. 1947. Mark IV 3.5-litre saloon. A truly one-of-a-kind vehicle. Post-war British luxury and elegance. Yeah, of course. These were the years when Sir Stafford Cripps, surely the most gifted British politician never to be Prime Minister, got together all the good men, it was men back then, just the way it was, of the British motor industry and said, gentlemen, we must export or die. You've got to build cars that the Americans will want to buy. And they wanted one of these, and this car was exported to the US in 1947. It's had, right, I'm going to combine it because there's two figures here. It's had more than £100,000 spent on it, this car, to get it like this. An extensive history folder comes with the car for all the work that's been carried out so that you can know that we're not just making that up. It was a People's Choice Award winner at a big car show in 2025. It's just gorgeous, isn't it? Look at it. And it's so... This is what the Americans wanted. If this car had been sold in the UK, it wouldn't have come in these colours. But if you were in California or Florida or somewhere like that, West Palm Beach, this is what you wanted. Absolutely fantastic with the white wall tyres, the wire wheels. We've got a note from the vendor himself, and he says, to whoever ends up purchasing this car, I sincerely hope that it brings you hours of fun. Please look after it. And I would like to echo those sentiments. £50,000 to £60,000. As it says on my notes here from the lads, a truly one-off kind of a vehicle. The 1947 Jaguar SS Mark IV 3.5-litre saloon. Next to it, I don't want to scratch this car, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to nip round it and I'm going to get round there so I can tell you about this Rolls Royce. So this is a 1935 Rolls Royce 2025 ex-World War I fighter ace owner. How fantastic is that? What a story. I love cars with a story, and this car has most certainly got one. It's a 2025 Sportsman Saloon by Freestone and Webb. Obviously, they were the coach builders. Back then, when you bought your Rolls Royce or you bought a car of, not that there really were cars of equivalent quality, but something like a Rolls, you didn't buy the whole thing. You bought the chassis and the engine, and you took it off to your coach builders, Mappin and what's-her-face, or whoever they were, or Fisher, or all kinds of people, Mulliner Park Ward, and they would have put this beautiful body on it. It was Freestone and Webb who did this one. It's a particularly elegant and rare example with a low roof design. It is, look, 1935, most cars, you could wear a top hat, you know, while you were driving. Isambard Kingdom Brunel could have driven most cars back then, but this is much more elegant with this low roof. In 2000s, the car underwent an extensive body-off restoration, including a full respray, rather obviously because the paint's in fantastic condition and it's nearly 100 years old. High-quality interior retrim, again, yes, very nice and very sympathetic. Suspension and axles were overhauled, new aluminium wings, an oak frame fitted, new tyres. Cosmetically, the car, as you can probably see from the excellent work of the camera person I'm working with today, it's in great condition. And mechanically, it performs smoothly and is very easy to drive. A beautifully presented, thoroughly restored example with rich provenance, spoken like a native of Bury, Lancashire. But what a car! The 1935 Rolls Royce 2025 with, as we say, all kinds of history to come with it, and formerly the property of a World War I fighter race. I wonder who that was. Another Rolls Royce. No, a Bentley, I think. Yes, I think I can see a flying B up there. Yes, the S3 Bentley, 1964. The 1964 Bentley S3, a classic luxury saloon, distinguished by its iconic quad headlamps. And of course, there was a Rolls-Royce equivalent, but this is the Bentley. Finished in elegant two-tone peppermint blue and Agadir? Not Agadoo blue, Agadir blue. Yeah, don't get that wrong. Recently features in a Netflix film, which is set to release in February. The car, oh right, so it's in the Beatles one. No, it's in the film about Brian Epstein. Right, I've worked that out. See, I'm not as daft as I look. There's a film coming about Brian Epstein, the iconic manager of the Beatles. And he had one of these. So I'll bet money, not too much money, but I'll bet some money that it's that film that this car features in. Anyway, regardless of that, that might not make any kind of difference to you. It's in fantastic condition, though some micro blisters are visible on the paintwork, and the chrome bumpers are showing a bit of a sign of aging. Yep, they could do with a proper clean, and a proper go round this car could do with. It just needs some love, some TLC. I was trying to link it into a Beatles song title there, but I couldn't think of one that's appropriate. So I'm going to get back to what I'm doing and move on to the next car. The £24,000 to £26,000 is the estimate on the 64, same age as me, but in much better condition, I think you'd agree. Bentley S3, £24,000 to £26,000 is the estimate. Now, there are all sorts of reasons to love a TVR, especially if, like me, you're a Lancastrian. Blackpool, it's not Birmingham, but they have produced Jaguar, or SS cars as they were known back then before they moved to Coventry. And in that bus garage, an old bus garage in Blackpool, they built some amazing cars. TVR. This is a 1990 TVR S3, but it's a bit special because at some point, what would it have had underneath there? An S6 3 litre V6 or maybe a Rover V8? This generation of TVR. Well, this one has got a 2.9 litre V6 Cosworth engine. So I'm going to guess that that came out of the Scorpio, the car that I test drove on Top Gear. Yeah, have you been watching this thinking, I vaguely recognise that shouty northern bloke that they seem to have got in. What did he used to be on? Top Gear. Yeah. And I used to go to TVR at the drop of a hat to borrow a car. Any excuse, because they're such a hoot to drive. And this one's been made considerably more interesting than it might have been when it left the factory, because it's now got 230 horsepower, courtesy of that 2.9 litre Cosworth engine. Back then, it underwent a full chassis restoration in 2012, stainless steel side members, and it's got a stainless steel exhaust, uprated fuel system, an emerald ECU, and it's got 17-inch alloy wheels. A rare high-performance British sports car with significant upgrade. It's not just got a loud exhaust and like a speed stripe. It's been sorted out, so it's got that look from that period. And nostalgia is a strange thing, because people will go, well, who'd want that look from that period? The people who were young at the time and lusted after something like this, but couldn't afford it, but now perhaps they can, because the estimate, believe it or not, £6,000 to £8,000. A lot of car for very little money, I would say. My old mate, Stiff Needles from the top gears that I just mentioned, he's raced this car back here. But don't hold that against the car, right? That's all I'm saying. Austin A35 Racecar. You've seen these at Goodwood with the celebrities in them. With him off Dragon's Den, Theo Profiteroles, that fella, the Greek man. He's been in one of these, I'm sure, at Goodwood. I've seen him going round. I've seen them all going round. Emma Parker Bowles, the Queen's daughter, but not a princess, because British royalties, you know, it's all complicated, isn't it? It's not complicated with this car. It's a historic competition race car based on a 1959 A35 prepared by Moto Build Racing. It's ready to go. It's now maintained by Don Rawson Racing. It's got a healthy engine, adjustable shocks. It's very clean underneath. Raced by Timothy, my old pal from Top Gear, and Rob Huff at the 2017 Silverstone Classic. They both signed it. It participated in the Donington Historic Festival back in 2015, and it comes with a 2024 HRDC Academy Race Passport. Yeah, that's what they do. They put all these things out together, and it gets people ready for racing the big beasts in historic saloon car racing. I mean, you don't want to get in a Ford Galaxy straight away, do you? Or a Chevy, some giant Camaro or something like that with a roaring V8 engine. Start off in one of these. £9,000 to £11,000 on the ex-Tiffany Dell. That's got to add a bit of value to it, surely. Austin A35 racing car. Now, if you prefer your little Austins from back in the day, when Austin, of course, were Britain's biggest car company, in a more sort of streetwise condition, what about this one? The 1953 Austin A30 Seven, a charming four-door saloon. It says that here, but it is, isn't it? Just look at it. It's a friendly little car. If we can come around the front, you'd see it's got like a smiley face. Yeah. So the paint's great. It's got a nice interior. The red contrast. In fact, the interior is very nice. That's obviously been redone. The bodywork and chrome are in good condition. The car, though, is currently a non-runner due to a seized engine. Right, so you're thinking, oh, right, well, I'm glad you mentioned that. Well, yeah, you know, we're not going to not mention it. The car's in cosmetically great condition, despite the fact that it's over 70 years old, but it's got a seized engine, and that's why it's for sale in this sale, our September sale here at Barron's, with no reserve. A Turner. I've driven one of these, a Turner. There are all kinds of cars like this, competition cars based on humble mechanicals made back in the late 50s and early 60s. You think of, well, the most famous example, of course, being Lotus. But the Turner would have been competitive in its day, and it's competitive now. Now, look, the steering wheel is on the wrong side. And that is very rare for a Turner. They only made 170 of these cars, and just 60-odd are believed to have survived. A very few like this one in left-hand drive. Because, of course, this one went over to the States, where they're just as keen on historic motor racing as we are. It's got all its stickers and stuff like here from the Pittsburgh Vintage Grand Prix, Vintage Show Car Club of America, all that sort of stuff. A car fitted with a 950cc engine, close ratio 5-speed gear. Is that the Morris Minor engine? Could be. Close ratio 5-speed gearbox, race spec upgrades, obviously, like the roll cage, the fuel cell instead of a regular fuel tank. It's a racing car. It's got all the racing car stuff on it. Don't worry about that. It's been featured in Motorsport magazine. It was very successful during its life on the other side of the pond. One of the best documented. Its life, all the paperwork's there. 1958, the car's, you know, what, 67 years old. Wow. Ideal for historic racing or for entry into prestigious events, and cheap. It's good, unbelievably cheap. £13,000 to £15,000 for a car that could get you into all sorts of places where normally you'd be expected to have some super high-end Maserati or Ferrari or Lotus or Jaguar. Because they competed in period, you could get in there in your Turner 950S. And why wouldn't you? In stark contrast to the Turner, let's look at something that will get the blood of boy racers boiling. Easy for me to say. 2008 Ford Fiesta ST, but not any ST, an ST500, a limited edition of 500 of these. It's got 67,000 miles on it. It's in excellent condition. Really nice interior, black alloy wheels with matching Dunlop Sport Max tyres, a good strong service history with this car, 8 service stamps, 6 of them from Ford specialists, and the last one in 2025, just a few miles ago. It's got a fresh MOT, and it's a very well kept example of a modern Ford classic. As far as I know, it's not got a pop and bang remap done on it, but you can have that done if you wanted to, if you were that way inclined. The estimate, I can't believe how cheap this is, because if you ask me for a definition of a modern classic from the last 20 years, the Ford ST. It's becoming extremely hard to find a nice one because guess what? The people who bought them ragged them rotten. Yeah. So finding a really nice one like this is tough. Cheap, £45,000, 2008. Ford Fiesta ST with a full ticket, all the service history and all that comes with it. And it's nice. It's nice, that one. Not that this isn't nice. Look how big this car is. Look at this, I'm 5'10". I feel like a short person, he said, having circulated all of the words for short people and trying to find one that's not offensive. We live in strange times. You've got to be careful about these things. What a car. 2010. Is this better than a new one? I think it looks better than a new one. This is the best looking Range Rover for me. This generation, third generation. 2010 Autobiography 5 Litre Supercharged. So that means this one's got... So the Autobiography didn't mean what you thought it might mean. Autobiography means your story. But what it basically meant on a Range Rover from this period was top of the range. Got absolutely everything on it. Touchscreen, multicam system, heated and ventilated seats. The proper Harman Kardon audio system. This one has done 110,000 miles. It's got a long MOT, luxury, performance, and again, that word has appeared here. Just because it's the right colour, it's in great condition, it's not starting to look ropey, this one. Everything looks as it should. £9,000 to £11,000. You could look like, do you know what we say up north when somebody's got a 10 bob millionaire? You look like, in other words, you look rich for very little money. Look rich for very little money with a 2010 Range Rover Autobiography, top of the range, 5 litre supercharged. What an engine, that 5 litre V8 supercharged. £9,000 to £11,000. Land Rover Defender. We had one from the Royal Artillery. This one comes to us from the RAF. This was an RAF helicopter support vehicle. I bet it's not done that many miles. 1992 110 Defender, extremely rare ex-RAF support vehicle, built to jumpstart military helicopters in the field. Right. Because I was thinking then, how do you start a helicopter? Do you just like turn a key or push a button? Well, they might need jump starting, and that's what this was for, jump starting military helicopters. It features an auxiliary alternator, reinforced roof platform. Is that in case you have to get up there? Probably. Right, so this is going to retain all its original military equipment. It was released from the RAF in full working condition, and since then, it's had £5,000 spent on it, including wax oiling. It's not often you hear that these days, a car getting wax oiled, but this one's just been wax oiled. And it's had chassis guard treatment. It's got 50,000 miles on it. Yeah, it's only 50,000 miles from 1992. Comes with the MOD disposal certificate. So if you get pulled over by the authorities and they're like, why do you appear to be driving an RAF vehicle? You can go, it's old, it me. Look, there's the disposal certificate. A unique, well-preserved piece of British military history that you could drive round in. Fantastic. £10,000 to £14,000. The estimate on the 1992 Land Rover Defender 100, not a 110. Did I erroneously say 110? I think I might have. It's a 100 RAF helicopter support vehicle. Low mileage. If that doesn't float your boat, what about this? Austin Hereford. Doesn't it look American? It's not. It couldn't be less American, apart from in its looks, in which it is very American. But it's not. It is not a DeSoto, a Dodge, a Chrysler, a Pontiac, or an Oldsmobile. It's an Austin A30 Hereford pickup, a rare vehicle with lots of character, as the folk upstairs have written down for my notes here, and they couldn't be more right, could they? If you're into that sort of 50s culture, you know, Happy Days and Rocking at the Hop Tonight, big turn-ups on your jeans, nothing wrong with that. Great. This could be an affordable alternative to the American stuff and better suited to our British roads. Because I've had a big American, Hank, my 1958 Ford Stepside pickup truck with a Camaro Z28 front clip in it. Bit of a handful on the cobble streets of Lancashire, I'm here to tell you. So something British proportions, but with that look, might suit you better. A rare and excellent example, 53,000 miles, 3 keepers, restored over many years by the previous owner. A tiny pickup bed, hand-painted Austin logo on the tailgate, which I don't know if we'll be able to see. It's got an alternator conversion, flashing indicators. Yeah, because it probably came with, you know, not those things, because it's from 1952. We've got an extensive history file, including all the invoices, manuals, and the original Buff logbook. A definite chance to own something that has a meticulous amount of time, money, blood, sweat and tears has gone into restoring this one like this. It's beautifully done. £12,000 to £14,000. Not many people are going to get all excited about this, but for some people, this is going to be absolutely perfect. A fantastic opportunity to benefit from somebody else's hard work and all the money that they've spent, £12,000 to £14,000 on the 1952 Austin A30 Hereford pickup. Now, bit of class here. Again. 2004 Mercedes SL500. Retractable hardtop, sleek V8, pure Mercedes class, and it's in fantastic condition. This car comes with a very good service history. We've got 10 service stamps on it, a folder of service and repair bills, recent gearbox rebuild done under warranty, and all the old MOT certificates. Well maintained, stylish, modern, classic. Think how much these were when they were new 20 years ago. A ton of money. £5,500 to £6,500. Can you imagine? You can have that for that. Nobody'd know. The neighbours would think you won the lottery. Of a similar vintage, and with the same sort of style, the Germans were rocking in the free world in this period, weren't they? They were just dominating. They were absolutely slaying the opposition because the quality that they offered and the performance and the style just couldn't be bettered, could it? 1999, well, you tell me, what else would have compared with this in 90? Who else was making a full-sized, 4-seater convertible car? Because it is full-size. Look at the seats in the back. They're not like little 2+2 seats. They're proper seats for grown-ups to sit in. And they put that there so that you don't, 3 of you try and squeeze in and spoil the experience. They say, no, this isn't for putting your kids in. This is for, like, you and your significant other and, like, 2 of your friends to have a lovely day out in. You know, doing whatever upscale activity you might care to indulge in, because it would have been a ton of money back in 1999, this BMW 328i, offered in velvet blue, this colour is, in case you were wondering. Reminds me of Ford Purple Velvet. I sprayed my Lambretta that colour once, Ford Purple Velvet. Again, another story for another time. Stick to the script. Powered by a refined 2.8 litre inline 6, delivering nearly 200 horsepower, automatic transmission. Of course, it's a cruiser. This one's got a slick soft top, alloy wheels, fog lights. The all-black interior is complemented beautifully by the cream leather. It's in good condition and drives well. It's got an MOT. We've just put a new, well, somebody, not we, somebody's just put a new radiator in it. It's in good condition. It's not Concours, it's in really good condition. It's ready to use and to be enjoyed. That's reflected in the estimate, £6,000 to £8,000. V8 compressor. The supercharged V8 in this. These are quick. I remember being surprised by how quick this was back in the day, because I thought it was a boulevardier. I thought it was a cruiser car to pop to the wine bar in. And it can be that, but it's also really quick. Luxurious and powerful, 5.4 litre, supercharged V8 engine. Yeah, there's me going, oh, isn't it quick, this? Well, yeah, it's got a 5.4 litre supercharged engine, but it's also a very luxurious car. Clean paintwork, good alloys, a well-kept grey leather interior. We've got the V5 in the handbook, an AMG. Yeah, that's it. It's not just a Mercedes SL55 compressor. It's an SL55 AMG compressor. Again, in 2002, just think about how much you would have been paying for one of these. How much you're paying in 2025? We reckon about £10,000. A Ford Cortina. My pal wrote a song about the Ford Cortina, Mike Sweeney. It's a band called the Salford Jets, who, like me, are from up north. I think it got in the charts. Yeah. Look at this. Somebody's got a sense of humour. We've got the old, the furry dice and the fur orange hanging down. Breathe it in. It's the same. Shame this isn't Smell-O-Vision. Oh, you could breathe that in. And a cassette, a compact cassette player. That's nice, the little mountainy wood rim steering wheel. That's a nice addition to this 2-litre GXL. Cool, if you had one of these in 1972, fantastic. Great colour as well, isn't it? The desirable red with the black vinyl interior and the black vinyl roof. In the desirable, they say red. Now, to me, that's an orangey red. And in fact, that orangey red, Heinz tomato soup, isn't it? I remember when it was new, it always reminded me of this colour, Heinz tomato soup. Powered by the 2-litre Pinto, the classic 2-litre Pinto, with, get this one's got an uprated 5-speed gearbox, and it's got, never mind gapping your points, ladies and gentlemen, this car has electronic ignition. Now, we're going to go around the back and see what's on the back parcel shelf. And if there isn't a nodding dog, I'm going to be disappointed. Come on, let's go around the back. Oh, there's more than one. I think that might be overkill. Even I think that might be overkill. You had to have a nodding dog, and this one's got 3. It's making me want this car. However, because there aren't many left, they were everywhere, weren't they? You know, it was Britain's family car, the Cortina, wasn't it? Most men were either, and it was men, sorry, it was like that back in the day, back in 1972. Most men were Ford men or Vauxhall men. But my dad liked the Roots group, which is why we had like Chrysler Avengers and Hillman Hunters and stuff like that. Anyway, they were everywhere at one point, and now they're very hard to find in this condition. £14,000 to £16,000 is the estimate on the 1972 Ford Cortina 2000 GXL with the uprated 5-speed gearbox, the lovely mountainy steering wheel. Fabulous car. You even get the fur orange and 3, not 1, not 2, but 3 nodding dogs on the parcel shelf. Go on, you want to, don't you? Or perhaps this is more your style. Ford Granada Mark II 2.8. It's got the V6. Yeah, you want a V6 in something this big, don't you? Look at it, it's a big car. Ford Granada Mark II 2.8 GL Estate, and it's an auto. Yeah. Wow, this would have been quite a thing back in the day. You would have had to have been earning to afford something like this, and it's got a tow bar. Of course it's got a tow bar. You would have, and I don't think that would have been for a caravan. I think it would have been for your boat. You know, if you're in this sort of, if you're in this category. My dad had a tow bar and all his cars, those aforementioned Avengers and Hillman Hunters, but, you know, that was for his little trailer. If he was going to the town's yard, as we call it, you know, the tip. Or we got a caravan later on. This, you'd be pulling your boats so you could go water skiing, wouldn't you? Because this is a classy piece of kit and it would have been expensive back in 1985. It'll be MOT and tax exempt, this one, from the beginning of next year. It's got a period correct upgrades because it's a GL. It wouldn't have had these gear alloys on, but they've been added. They look fantastic. It's got a rebuilt carburettor, system upgrades, heavy-duty suspension, refurbished wheels, and matching Kumho tyres. Inside, it's got a clean cloth interior. Easy for me to say. Sierra steering wheel, bit saucy, a bit smaller, and an upgraded stereo system. This car has an extensive documented history. It's a rare and desirable. These estates were worked to death, weren't they? They were a posh, expensive car when they were new. Then they got to the second, third, fourth, fifth owner, and all of a sudden it was just being used as a glorified van. Throw your ladders in the back, throw some bricks, a couple of bags of plaster, that sort of thing. Or else dogs, a dog carrier. But no, this one has been looked after throughout its long life, 1985. So it's been around for 40 years now. It's in fantastic condition. It's very rare. Where will you see another one of these? £5,000 to £6,000 only on the Ford Granada Mark II 2.8 GL Estate Auto. Oh, another one of these. Such a special car, such a beautiful car. I love to see one like this as well, where it's got no rear view mirrors, apart from the one that, nothing on the outside to clutter it up. The person who owned this car was like, no clutter on that, the most beautiful shape of a car ever. No clutter whatsoever. This is an earlier car, and it's not got a Chevrolet V8 in it, I'll tell you that. This is a 66 Series 1, highly sought after classic car, featuring the desirable 4.2 litre engine, the straight six with an all synchromesh gearbox. It's not matching numbers though, it does have the correct engine for this car and has undergone significant mechanical work, including a rebuilt rear end. It's got a stainless steel exhaust, it has new brakes and tyres, it prevents beautifully with great paintwork, fabulous chrome, and of course a period correct interior, strictly a two-seater in beautiful black leather. Originally finished in opalescent grey with dark blue leather. Is that dark blue? No, that's black. So those must be, well, at some point the dark blue seats were completely cream crackered, and so somebody's put those rather lovely black ones in. £45,000 to £50,000. E-types seem very affordable right now, especially when they're as desirable as this one, 1966 Series 1. With the 4.2 engine in this fabulous, it's very contemporary. Some of the colours that they did E-types in, like primrose yellow or sort of baby blue, there was a weird baby blue, and of course heather, which was like elastoplast pink, haven't aged nearly as well as this opalescent grey. Absolutely gorgeous, and yours perhaps for between £45,000 and £50,000 in this, our September sales. At Manor Park Classic South, Barron's. It goes by a couple of names. We've all gone by a couple of names at various times, haven't we, for all kinds of reasons. Now, have you ever fancied a Porsche? I have. I nearly bought a 944. Well, I nearly swapped it for an Alfa Romeo GT V6, but then I drove that 944, which wasn't a turbo. People have subsequently said, if you'd driven the turbo, you'd think differently. And I didn't swap it for my Alfa Romeo GT V6, a proper GT V6 from back in the day. You know, the one that Clarkson likes? Yeah, I bet his wasn't as nice as mine. But I think this is the way in to Porsche ownership if you're stuck for brass at the moment, and a lot of us are. It's a 2001, because it's a proper Porsche, 2001 Boxster S, 6-speed manual gearbox, there you go. Proper Porsche, the Boxster S, so the more powerful one with a 6-speed manual. It's got an MOT till May next year with no advisories, significant maintenance, including new Toyo tyres. It's had a new radiator and brakes. It's got a new hood. Yeah, you can tell it's had a new hood because this car's what now? 25 years old. Wow, that's making me feel old. This car's 25 years old. It's in great nick, it's the right spec, and guess what? It's also the right money. Our estimate and what would be, I say it again, a great way into Porsche ownership, because you might think, it's not for me, but don't make an expensive mistake. Make an affordable mistake. You'll love it. They're great, these. The S, with the manual 6-speed, I say it again, £4,500 to £5,500. 1996 GMC Camaro, Chevrolet Camaro. I've done a lot of miles in one of these because one of my best pals worked for a German company in their UK office, and they said to him, there's the amount of money that your company car, remember when we all had company cars, there's the amount of money your company car can be. That's the sticker price you can go up to. Now, because we lived in Manchester, we had the only authorised General Motors dealer in the UK, Bauer Millet of Peter Street, Manchester, right on our doorstep. And so he went and got one of these in black. It looked like the Batmobile. It was fantastic. Instead of getting the rather more predictable Audi or BMW. This one isn't in absolutely tip-top shape. It's got a few knocks and bangs here and there and scratches. It's kind of sound, and it's been well behaved in its time here at Barron's, but it hasn't been extensively road tested. It's done 85,000 miles. It's actually in kilometres, and it's on left-hand drive. Yeah, it's left-hand drive, and it's an automatic. It's a usable, affordable, classic muscle car project with lots of potential. That's what they used to say about me in school. We're in Southampton, which of course is one of the world's preeminent ports. And so just over there, ships are doing stuff. Can you hear it? Yeah. They've stopped doing it now, which is good. No reserve on that one. The Chevrolet Camaro, which, looking at that number plate, I'm going to think has come in as a Japanese import, perhaps. Perhaps because it's got kilometre clocks and it's left-hand drive. Japanese drive on the same side as us. Why would it be left-hand drive? Scratch that. Forget I ever said that. And instead, look at this lovely Jag. Now, this is a cruiser, isn't it? This is a proper cruiser. Jaguar's elegant X300 series. I've had so many of these. They're such good value. You get so much car for your money. I think this colour, correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm sure you will, I think it's called Topaz. And you get like lovely crema leather interior. Hey, I tell you what, like I say, I've had a few of these, and the leather interior, although look lovely, doesn't wear that well. This one's absolutely fantastic. It must be low mileage. It must be super low mileage. Let me have a look here. No, wrong, incorrect. 83,000. Mind you, that's not a lot since 1995. That's right, this car's 30 years old. Because it's the Sovereign, you get the chrome here, the chrome there, you get the chrome surround there, and the chrome mirror backs. The Sovereign was, I think it was the top trim level in the X300 at the time. A great example. A few light blemishes. The car's got the red, look at that. Look at that. It's got, on this lovely Topaz, I'm going to say Topaz, it's sort of a silvery, bronzy colour. Neither one nor the other. Very attractive. The red pinstripe. You won't get that on your BMW or your Audi, would you? A lovely hand-applied red pinstripe. Your so-called great German cars, it's pinstripe. But there's a skill in that, isn't there? Proper British car. 1995. No reserve. Again, no reserve. 911 Carrera Tiptronic. Yes, it's got the flappy paddles. It's a Tiptronic. Or full auto, if you prefer. We've got a hardtop and a working soft top with this one. It's got a clean interior and exterior, upgraded clear headlights and rear lights. That would have been an expensive upgrade at the time. 15 service stamps. It's been well looked after this, the 996. Mostly from Porsche specialists, 3 brake fluid changes, 6 long life guarantee condition reports, all from Porsche specialists. It's got a brand new MOT, it's ready to drive, and the estimate on this one, the 1999 Porsche 911 Carrera Tiptronic S, £9,000 to £11,000. Now, Was there a better looking saloon car anywhere in the world back in 1972? The answer is no, there wasn't. There wasn't. There was just this one. The 1972 XJ6 4.2 Series 1. Beautiful Series 1. Just the pure, beautiful Jaguar shape. Great colour as well. BRG, but not a black leather interior. You might look in this car and admire what you think is black leather, but what you'd actually be admiring is something that was known as ambler. And it's because in South Africa, it gets a lot hotter than it does in, say, Southampton. And so leather suffers in that kind of climate. It can also get very sort of humid, hot and humid. Leather doesn't like that. Now, in his career working in a factory in the northwest of England, my dad finished up his working life there making Tex, MB Tex. Now, you know what MB Tex is, don't you? It's what people think is leather in an old Mercedes. Mercedes didn't like leather. It stretched, it would wear, it would lose its colour. They invented MB Tex, and my dad made it in a factory in the northwest of England. And I think ambler's very simple, similar to that. It's a vinyl, which in many ways is superior to leather. The best looking saloon car in the world at the time, and this one has been loved and looked after. Do you know how you can tell? Let me show you, come here. Look at that, they've polished through the paint. So they've polished through the paint there. And you're thinking, well, so what? You do not look after a car to the extent that you end up polishing through the paint without loving and valuing that car. That is the clearest indication, one of the clearest indication, apart from extensive paperwork, of course. That's one of the clearest indication that a car has been loved and looked after. 1972, as I say, £4,500 to £5,500 on this very sound, and of course, because it's from a former part of the world's largest land empire, ours, it's right and drive. I think a lot of cars from this period have aged, and not necessarily in a good way. This one is very much of its time, the late 90s, but I thought they looked fantastic then, and I think they look even better now. And this is the one to have, because this one is the 840 Ci Sport. So if you got the Sport, you got all sorts of better stuff. You got uprated air conditioning, uprated suspension, bigger brakes, bigger wheels. The Sport was the one to have. It didn't really mean sport. What it meant was top of the range. And that's what this one is. The paintwork is in fabulous condition. Come on, this car's nearly 30 years old. It's done. 90,000, you won't think this, 90,000 miles from new. It's had a major maintenance service very recently. The air conditioning has been completely overhauled, new ignition components, refreshed suspension. We've got full documentation. It's very desirable. It's silver with a black leather interior, the classic combo for a German coupe. I mean, like I say, I had two 500 SECs and a 560 SE Mercedes, which at the time was the definitive German muscular luxury GT coupe. This BMW 8 Series took that crown. They didn't sell that many of them at the time, and they're a very striking car with a lot of road presence. 12 to 14,000 pounds is the estimate on that one, but I'm absolutely loving this. Come here and have a look at this bad boy. When was the last time you saw one of these? Cameraman's like, I've never seen one of these. Yeah, that's because you're a young person. Back in the day, these were everywhere. 1995, 30 years old, Vauxhall Cavalier 2-litre CDX Saloon. And of course, CDX meant that you got electric windows, power steering, premium seating, air conditioning. The air conditioning needs sorting out in this one. But I know what you're thinking. If you're looking at this, you're thinking, a Cavalier, a Cav CDX? Come on. Berry, has it been welded? It's never been welded. Berry, has it had paint? It's never had paint. Has it got the original radio cassette? Yeah. This is a car that was just used and sort of looked after as a motor car, because the people who had it probably, I mean, 30 years ago, air conditioning, premium seating, electric windows. Has it got a sunroof? You're damn right it's got a sunroof. And here at Barron's, in our September sale, we've got some exotic tackle. We've got Aston Martin V12s that belong to rock stars. We've got Bentley Arnage T. We've got all sorts of ex-military Land Rover Defenders with all kinds of crazy kit on them. But we've got what was commonplace, what was everywhere 30 years ago. But when would you see one now? In our sale this Saturday. A Vauxhall Cavalier 2-litre CDX Saloon. No reserve on that one. The Dodge Ram from 2006. When they brought the first Dodge Ram with the Viper V10 to the UK, Chrysler Jeep, as they were back then, got in touch with the BBC at Pebble Mill. Pebble Mill was BBC Birmingham. I spent approximately a quarter of the time when I worked there explaining that it was BBC Birmingham. Why they didn't just change the name. Every other BBC, BBC Manchester, BBC Glasgow, BBC Birmingham, Pebble Mill. Talking to somebody in Detroit, you're in a Pebble Mill? You make pebbles? No. I drove this on the runway, the old runway at Speak Airport, which is in Liverpool. Another thing that hasn't got the right name. And I donated it so hard, if you'll pardon the expression, that they couldn't get the back wheels off. We generated so much heat that metal had attached itself to metal in a way that was never coming apart again. What a hoot. Look how big it is. Cameraman can come in. Look at this. The door mirror is like at head height. This is a lot. I was going to say it's a lot of car. It's not a lot of car, is it? It's a pickup truck. And this is the Ram Hemi Evesham Motorsports Edition, a rare limited edition special celebrating Dodge, they of course being part of the Chrysler Group. And Ram is its own brand now, isn't it? But it wasn't then. Ram's its own brand as part of Stellantis. Keep up. But back then it was a Dodge Ram. And this has a 5.7 litre Hemi, baby, a Hemi V8, dual custom exhaust, bi-fuel, petrol, LPG, although the LPG tank does need refilling on this one. It runs and drives and it's got a fresh MOT. If we could see inside, but we're not going to do that because it's horrible weather and it'll get wet inside. If you could see inside, you'd see that it's got leather upholstery in red, embroidered headrest, custom pedals, and an upgraded Pioneer stereo, a rare and distinctive American full-size double cab pickup truck for the whole family. Would you just look at the size of these wheels? Come here, look at this. Look at the size of that wheel. Absolutely massive. A 275 60 20. Wow. 6,000 to 8,000 pounds. How can it be that cheap? If you didn't like it, you could probably weigh it in for it. What a thing. It's in great nick as well. Wow. The Dodge Ram Hemi Evesham Motorsports Edition. NASCAR inspired. Rare, powerful, and packed with character. Remind you anyone? Come round here. (1985) Bentley Turbo R. I drove one of these recently for the first time. I'd never driven one. I remember meeting Noel Edmonds. Yes, that Noel Edmonds. Top Gear's original presenter. Did you know that? The two original presenters were Noel Edmonds and Angela Rippon. Yeah, the newsreader. She test drove an Aston Martin on the first show. And she was wearing like a cocktail dress and a turban with a big brooch in the middle. I thought of trying that. They told me no. I said no. No one's ready for that, Berry. Bentley Turbo R. It's got a 6.75 litre V8. I know that because I drove one recently. Mit de Turbo. This one was part of a private collection. It needs returning to its former glory. And what glory that was. The interior, the exterior's not so great on this one, you can see that, but the interior is in much better order. And of course, it's got the distinctive pipe leather. It's got good seats, carpets, and the headlining's okay, which of course anybody who knows these cars would realise is quite a big deal. We've got the Bentley handbook, the V5, the service book with 18 stamps in it. Ideal for somebody looking for a rewarding experience restoring an old Bentley. As I say, I drove one for the first time recently. I just love it. The performance is strictly out of the old school. But when you put your foot down, it's almost like when Kirk says to, you know, Mr. Chekhov or Mr. Sulu, warp drive. It's like unbelievable. So old school. And the fuel consumption is brutal. But then again, I'm sure you know that. No reserve. 1985 Bentley Turbo R, no reserve. The motorhome in front is a Toyota. Murray Walker, again, the cameraman, hasn't got a clue who Murray is. Murray Walker, yes, no? No, shaking his head. Young person. We all remember Murray. He was my mate. He was very kind to me, Murray Walker. See, you probably knew that. You probably thought, I bet Murray Walker was a kind man. Yes, I met him a few times, and he was always very kind to me and nice. Anyway, enough about the nice Murray Walker. But he said that thing, the car in front is, did he say, at the time Toyota were advertising their car saying the car in front's a Toyota. And Murray said the car in front is on its roof or something like that when he was commentating. This isn't on its roof, but it's got a roof. It's got a pop-up roof, hasn't it? Because it's a Toyota Hiace motor caravan. A rare first-generation Toyota Hiace van from 1975. Wow, there wouldn't be many of them back in 1975 in the UK. A unique Toyota with plenty of potential. I wonder who did the conversion or whether... surely the conversion was done here in the UK. 1.6 inline 4-litre petrol engine. It runs and drives as it should. 32,500 miles, a strong history file. We've got a Haynes manual, the owner's manual, 26 MOT certificates. The most recent one performed at 31,500 miles, and it's now done 32,500 miles. It's got a bit of rust on the outside. It has the extendable roof. You see, that's... I know it was a bit contrived and a bit awkward, that thing about being on its roof, but I was trying to get round to this extendable roof because you're thinking, well, will it be able to stand up in the back? Yeah, when you park up goes the roof and you can stand up. Light restoration. Yeah, light restoration. Body's straight, pretty straight, yeah. Remember, this is from 1975. And that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, is 50 years ago. Wow. I'll get me caught, as they say. £5,000 to £6,000 because super rare. Find another one. Light recommissioning, getting sorted out, little bit of restoration work, and, you know, cool festivals in the summer. Down to, what's it called? That one in Newquay. I'll ask the camera person. What's that festival in Newquay that they all go down to? Something to do with waves. I'm trying to think, you're a sort of fashionable young person. You want something, you don't want something run-of-the-mill. You don't want a VW camper like everybody else. No, it's not a Volkswagen, it's a Toyota. Wow, people would say. I've never seen one of those before. The name of that festival will come to me tonight at about like 3:05 in the morning. I'll wake up in the middle of the night and go, ugh. Boardmasters, see, I'm 61 and I knew about the cool festival, and the cameraman, who's like a young person, didn't know Boardmasters. Yeah, get to Boardmasters in that, you'd be the belle of the ball. Down here, 2004 Range Rover. TD6 Auto, well-maintained example, classic styling with luxury features. Oh yeah, baby. 3-litre diesel, automatic, obviously. It drives smoothly. It's in great condition for its age and the mileage, which is, let me have a quick look at here if I can wipe the rain off. It's all right, I'm used to the rain. I'm from Manchester. 136,000 miles. Wow, that's more than I thought. It's been used, it's had a life, needs a clean. Apart from that, job's a good one. No reserve. No reserve on that one as well. Wow, we've got some no reserve bargains outside here. This is a belter. You know, I said my favourite was that Morris Minor. Walk this way. Look at that. Come on. 1987 Volkswagen Golf GTI 16 valve. Young person operating the camera, is that cool? Yeah, absolutely. A straightforward affirmation. I think this is a car that appeals as much to my generation as it does to his generation, because it's not trying too hard, is it? It's just, it is what it is. Back in the day, this ruled its sector of the market. Absolutely no discussion or no debate on that one. This one's done 128,000 miles since 1987. Yes, it's nearly 40 years old. Wow. This one's got upgraded Goodrich brake lines, factory power windows. There are no mechanical issues with this one. It's only had 3 former keepers. It passed its last MOT with no advisories. No advisories, so you know it's not rotten underneath. It can't have passed with no advisories. It's all very well having an MOT until you look online at the MOT history, which we know you're going to do because there's the registration. You can check it online at .gov. If you go there and the list of advisories is just, you're in for a world of pain. Not so with this car. There are no advisories, so you know that it's solid underneath. Like I say, it appeals to this generation as much as it did mine because it's just an all-time classic. The 1987 VW Golf GTI 16 valve, our estimate on this one, around £5,000. The definitive British sports car, isn't it? The MGB Roadster. Now, you're saying, hold on a minute, Berry, that's on an S-plate. Shouldn't it have rubber bumpers? Well, it started life with rubber bumpers, but do you know what? I had a lovely BGT in orange. I call it George Best Orange because I think George Best's car was that colour. And it had black rubber bumpers and it looked great. That colour looked great, but red like this, fire engine red, chrome bumpers. So somebody's done that conversion at great expense for you. Full bodywork refurbishment, suspension upgrades, and a fully retrimmed interior with leather. Yes, this is leather. It's not vinyl. These are leather seats. And a new hood, which is great. The car's done, right, the car had 22,500 miles on it. It's got an MOT until this time next year. We've got loads of receipts and photographic evidence of all the work that's been done. The bodywork is absolutely fantastic. All those places where these go, and we all know them, it's good. You're good on this one. And here's the best bit. This chrome bumper converted, former rubber bumpered MGB Roadster, no reserve. Somebody is going to drive away in this lovely car from our September sale. MG TD Mark II Works Competition Model, a special 1952 MG TD. This rare Mark II Works Competition version of the MG TD is a left-hand drive model. So again, is this one that went to America? No. It was sold in the Netherlands to the Dutch people. 5-speed gearbox. 5-speed gearbox? Really? Would that have been from new? Wow, that would have been a big deal back then, wouldn't it? Mechanical highlights of this car include a full engine rebuild in 2009 when it got new brakes. It was fitted with a new hood and side screens and a full set of brand new Firestone F560 tyres. As the Mark II, it benefits from upgrades from the factory with the tuned engine, with this, the Mark II Works Competition model. Tuned engine, Andrex dampers. This is a tissue of lies, Berry, that you're telling us. No, it's true. Andrex dampers, a high ratio rear axle, and twin fuel pumps. There are only, or were only, 1,700 Mark II units built out of 30,000 MGTDs. This is a seldom seen example, in superb condition of a very desirable collector car, and the estimate on the 1952 MG TD. Again, export or die. We sent these around the world, and the world loved them because there simply wasn't anything like it. There wasn't a car that was this much fun at such an affordable price. And 70 odd years on, the price is still affordable. £12,000 to £13,000 on the 52 MG TD. And don't forget, it's not ordinary TD. It is the Works competition model. I'll do a half Woolard. Top Gear reference. There you go. Look at that. A lovely, no reserve starter classic, it says here. And I couldn't describe it better in one sentence myself. 33 Austin 10-4. A well-preserved example from a private collection. It really is well-preserved. The paintwork and chrome are in great condition. The interior leather looks very tidy overall. It does. It looks remarkably fresh. They can look really sort of... I quite look them when they're a bit old and patinaed, as my former colleague and friend, not that he's a former friend, but I haven't seen him in a while, Quentin 2Ls Wilson. Yeah, another Top Gear reference. Remember 2Ls? Because Wilson with 2Ls. He'd do the classics, wouldn't he? He'd be stood next to this going, remarkably well preserved, the Austin 10-4. But that's how he'd do it, and this is how I do it. 1125 engine, 4-speed gearbox, known for its ease of maintenance and an enjoyable driving experience. Not all cars are an enjoyable driving experience to the modern motorist, but this one is. An ideal starter classic, a weekend vintage car. It's practical, it's attractive, it's a great example of 1950s style British motoring, and no reserve. Again, it's great if you can come down. We're in Southampton. Well, we are here. I'm up north normally, but I've been allowed it. This is like my works trip. You know, sent me down here on a charabanc. In Southampton, the sale is this Saturday. We start at 1 p.m. If you can come along, great day out. And if you can actually see the car and touch it like I'm doing right now, and I know you hate that, but I'm going to do it again. Look at me touching it. You'd see just how good this one is. It really is in good nick, and no reserve on the 1933 Austin 10-4. 10-4, good buddy. That was my dad. My dad was into CV. It was the 70s. Everyone was into... What was your handle? He doesn't know what I'm talking about, the cameraman. Young fella. I haven't got a clue what I'm talking about. 10-4, good bud. You watch your handle? Yeah, forget it. It was like the internet, but without pictures. 1953 MG Series YB. What a lovely car. Look at that. Proudly carrying our Union flag, which is displayed so often. Stay away from controversy, Berry, in this modern Great Britain of ours. But we were great then, weren't we? And we built some of the world's great cars, and lots of them. I'm a massive MG fan, massive Jag fan, massive MG fan. Jensen, Ford, Vauxhall, basically British cars. I've dallied with Italian and French stuff and American stuff, but truthfully, I like the British stuff. Got a British motorbike, British bicycle, British motorcycle, British. And I've got an MG. Not this one. The MG Series YB, 1953, stylish and rare four-door sports saloon. Yeah, we associate MG with cars like that TD I've just shown you, sports cars, two-seater open-top sports cars. But they made some great sports saloons like this one. They only built 1,300 of these though. It's got a 1.25 litre engine, 4-speed gearbox, synchromesh on the top 3 gears, which would have been, you know, sophisticated for 1953. This one's had a bare metal respray, you can tell. Yeah, it's not survived like that since 53. It's had a full bare metal respray, new braking system at the same time, complete rewire, and an engine that now runs on modern fuel. Yeah, there's no need to go looking for 4-star. The paintwork and chrome are in excellent condition, as is the interior. In the interior, nice, look at that. It's got so much character. The doors open the wrong way, which again adds to the kind of overall vintage feel. I know it's not a vintage car. Don't pick me up on that. When I say vintage feel, I mean oldie worldy. Look, that's got a bit of Bakelite there on the steering wheel. How fantastic is that? Does that work? Probably. Included with the car is a large history file, the old logbook, restoration photos, spare hubcaps, a spare gearbox. It's a well-restored, characterful classic. Yeah, again, the people upstairs have summed it up in one sentence when I'm taking like lots of sentences. But I just love talking about these cars. I love looking at them. I love going around them, finding out the story and telling you that story, which may inspire you to register to bid in our September sale or to come down here to Barron's in Southampton and bid on this car. We expect it to sell for between £7,500 and £8,500.
And I've been driving it every weekend since. 3.5 litre sleeve-drive engine, it's beautiful.
BMW, are these classic now? I think they might be. Guess how old this car is? I think it came out a few weeks ago. 20 years ago. Wow. Yeah, Chris Bangle. Like him or loathe him, lots of people loved him, I liked him. He did the Fiat Coupe. Do you remember that? I've got one. 20 valve turbo. Yes, a 20 valve turbo. Black, the rare in black. I like a black car. Lots of cars now are black, but 20 years ago, it wasn't so much the case. Which one's this? This is the one that you want. If you're after a Z4, this is the... Because lots of them were quite humble. I mean, I remember seeing comparison tests at the times with things like an MX-5. And you think, really? But, yeah, the more humble versions of this, but this is not the humble one. This is the 3-litre SI Sport. Yeah, it's got the 3-litre inline 6-speed manual gearbox. This is the one. The 3-litre 6 with the 6-speed gearbox. So much more car than your more run-of-the-mill BMW Z4. It's an all-season convertible because the roof's back there and it's powered. It runs and drives well. There are no warning lights. The alloys are a bit scuffed. They need a refurb. Look at them big Brembo brakes there. Look at them bad boys. And that's because it's the desirable one, the 3-litre Sport with a 6-speed gearbox. Look how cheap they are. These, they are at the bottom. Z4s are at the bottom of what they'll ever be worth. They can only go up. This one, £4,000 to £5,000. The 2006, yeah, they're 20 years old nearly. BMW Z4 SI Sport with the 3-litre engine and the 6-speed manual gearbox. Something a bit special, another 6-speed manual gearbox. Because, of course, to me, a manual gearbox is completely everyday run-of-the-mill, nothing special. But to somebody young, like the person who's holding the camera, manual gearboxes are like, wow, it's got a manual box. Cars don't have manual boxes now, do they? A lot of them. Well, this has got one. And for enthusiasts, that's what we want, isn't it? Most of the time, unless it's like a big yank tank or a Luxor barge from Mercedes or BMW or somebody like that, we want a clutch and we want a stick coming out in the middle of the floor to do that with. Because it's fun, we're enthusiasts. You get it with this, a 1999 Porsche 911 Carrera in the iconic Martini livery. This car's got a 3.4-litre flat-six water-cooled engine, 300 brake horsepower. The car has been facelifted. It's been, is it, what do they call it? Retro-modded? No, that's when you make something new look old. This is something old made newer by fitting it with genuine Porsche parts from a later car. It's got the RS style body kit. Like we say, it's the right one, it's the tight one. That's Martini. Martini livery. You can't get cooler. Maybe Golf. Golf or Martini. They're the two iconic liveries, aren't they, of all time. Or John Player Special. I'm starting to doubt myself, but, you know, that's my problem. The interior features blue-black leather, Alcantara, and upgrades including Apple CarPlay. Yeah, it's got all the modern stuff. Apple CarPlay, factory sunroof. It drives beautifully. It's got a good service history. Wow. I am flabbergasted. My flabber is well and truly gasted. Because I've told you all that and I'm thinking, I haven't looked at the price. I can't do everything. I've just looked at the price. 1999 Porsche 911 Carrera, 6-speed manual, 300 horsepower, 3.4, flat-six, water-cooled. The estimate, 11 to 13,000 pounds. Wow. You buy that car in our sale this weekend at Barron's, people are going to think you've got a lot more money than you possibly actually have. Or you might just have a lot of money because you're great at picking up bargains, and that, look at it, is a bargain. 11 to 13. Have they missed off a number here? 11 to 13,000 pounds. Wow. Because everybody thinks Porsches are, I say Porsches, I don't say Porsche. I grew up in a town with a Porsche dealership. Yeah, up north. There were only 11 Porsche dealerships outside of London at the time, but one of them was Ian Anthony of Bury, Lancashire. Yeah, as a kid, I'd go up and push my face against the glass to see the 924, the 944, the 928, and the daddy, the definitive Porsche, the 911. I'll say again, 11 to 13,000 pound, the estimate on that one. Ford Fiesta ST. The cameraman's getting excited now. This is right off his Strasse for a young man, isn't it? You're thinking, look at that Fiesta ST. 2008, smartly presented, low mileage, an early, well-kept example. Rare that, isn't it? Rarer than like a Focus that a Fiesta is kept in good condition, because this was the cheapest way into the ST world, wasn't it? The Fiesta. Just 60,000 miles on this one. It's got a sporty interior with the signature blue and black ST seats, powered by the lively, that's a good way of putting it. You know, don't blow your trumpet too hard. It's lively. 2-litre engine, runs well, solid maintenance record with 6 service stamps. It's a collectible yet practical performance car that's well presented, low mileage example, ready to enjoy. We can't say fairer than that. It is what it is. It's a really nice Ford Fiesta ST, and most of them aren't because they've been used and abused. Not this one. £4,000 to £5,000 the estimate on the Ford Fiesta ST. Great style, these. Right, controversial statement. First one of the day. I try to stay away from controversy normally because somebody once said to me, Berry, you don't so much burn bridges as attach high explosives to all of the bridge supports, retire to a safe distance and press the plunger, reducing the bridge to atoms. But I'm going to be controversial here. The coupe is better looking than the Roadster. There, wasn't that controversial, was it? The MGB GT, I love that badge. So fantastic. So this one's on a W. The paintwork is phenomenal. The bodywork is great. It's had a really good restoration at one point, this car. Upgrades include Weber carb instead of the Skinner Unions, the dreaded Skinner Union carburetors. No, someone's put a Weber carburetor. Tubular exhaust manifold. We've got these new looking mini light style wheels with great tyres on them. Yep, brand new. There's a large file of invoices and a couple of books with the car. A very smart, we don't know too much of it about it. Look at that, it's got the old aftermarket sunroof here. Triple X. Is it from Webasto? It might be. Triple X glass there, safety glass. A solid, smart car that runs and drives well. It'd make a great starter classic. It needs improving here or there. It's got a little bit of corrosion. People aren't going to notice that. Give it a damn good polish. No reserve. Again, that's the thing about cars like this. This car isn't perfect. And that's why it's been offered with no reserve. So that somebody can potentially grab a bargain and make... It's a good car, but can make it a better car. Very easily. No reserve on the 1981 MGB GT. The great looking coupe. My favourite car in the sale is here. And it's a lovely, honest, original Morris Minor. I love these cars. And in fact, the other person who loves these cars is my old pal Tiffany Dell, who we mentioned earlier. He loves Minors as well. He learnt to drive in one. Offered at no reserve. 1960, Morris Minor 1000, showing 80,000 miles. It runs and drives. It says here it'll need some recommissioning due to lack of recent use. To me, it all seems to be here, and there's no secrets with this car. The interior is in absolutely fantastic condition. Could you just bob around here and show people just how good it is? Matches the exterior. To me, this is what minor paint should look like. It shouldn't be super shiny, because it never was from the factory. This one's got the 950 engine. It's a great entry-level classic. And I was looking at the price, and I was looking for a price that I'd already told you. No reserve. Really solid, really nice minor, good wheels, good tyres, good interior. My favourite so far. You can keep your fancy Porsches and your Aston Martin. Actually, I like a Porsche and Aston Martin, but you know what? I love this minor. No reserve, I might buy it. No, I won't, but you might. 1960 Morris Minor. Brabus. I put Brabus wheels, when nobody knew what Brabus was back in the day, I put Brabus wheels on my 560 SEC Mercedes and it completely ruined the handling. The car was virtually uncontrollable. But you live and learn, don't you? And I lived and learned there rather expensively. Now, obviously Brabus are much better known these days. It used to be AMG, didn't it? When it was Mercedes Performance, it was all about AMG. Now it's Brabus as well. And this is a 2003, wow, are they that old? Smart Roadster 80 Brabus conversion. Quirky style, lightweight chassis, fun handling. Great description from the chaps and chapesses upstairs here at Barron's. They've summed it up there very well. 2 owners from new, the car's in good condition. Full service history with 11 stamps. It's got an MOT, no advisories. The interior's got black leather. I'll tell you what, there is a surprising amount of room in what is a small car. Upgrades include a Brabus turbo, a clutch and groove disc brakes, supported by the invoices for the purchase of those products. And being a long-time Brabus customer, I know it ain't cheap. The car drives well. It's a well-maintained example. I'll tell you what, I've driven these. My pal's got one of these Brabus Roadsters. What a lot of fun. What a hoot they are to drive. Yeah, with their 3-cylinder turbocharged 700cc engine. You won't think a car with an engine that did it could be fun. As much fun as these are. What's the estimate? There isn't an estimate because it's offered for sale with no reserve. It's highly visible, isn't it? Yeah. You couldn't go sneaking around in one of these, could you? I like it. No reserve as well, I like that. This one's nice. 1969 MGB Roadster. Strong history, great presentation, and, importantly, verified mileage. Finished in Basilica Blue. Which Basilica? Yeah, it just sounds good. It trips off the tongue, doesn't it? Basilica Blue. It's a lovely colour. Excellent paintwork, a charming interior. It is charming, isn't it? I'm charmed by this interior. Look at that. Fantastic. Nothing, no problems there whatsoever. Nothing falling off, nothing cracked, nothing in bits, nothing coming apart. Restored back in 1983, this car comes with extensive maintenance records from 83 to 2009, plus a collection of the old MOTs. The car includes the original handbook, MG Owners Club membership, of course. MG Owners probably have the highest percentage of club ownership of any classic car owner. And there's no wrong with that. There's no wrong with that because that's how you find out about good cars. It's how you get cheap parts. It's how you find out the quirks and the foibles of the car that you love. No wrong with that. 1969 MGB, £6,000 to £7,000. Well, can you have a car that good for that little money? I think it looks great on those mini-light type wheels as well in this colour. For some reason, I like wires on a car from this. It's a bit late for wires, 69, isn't it? It just looks great, really purposeful. And how affordable is that? £6,000 to £7,000, the estimate. 1967 Jaguar Mark II. Yes, it's only the 240. It's the little one. But what a lovely car. And by the way, Morse's Mark II was a 240. So what's your problem? Now, I think this combination of, I'm going to call it Old English White because that's what it is, with red leather is absolutely fantastic. This car from 1967 has got an MOT. Why? It doesn't need one. Well, because an MOT is a really good way of finding out if there's anything potentially wrong with your classic. This one passed with no advisories. It's fitted with a 4-speed gearbox and overdrive. I have got a very soft spot. I always bang on about this whenever I do these sort of things. My granddad, John Moore, was a true motoring enthusiast, and as well as my dad, the person that got me into cars and motorcycles. And he was a Mark II man. His was British Racing Green with a black leather interior, and it was immaculate. Just like his handmade shoes, his bespoke suits, his Swiss watches. He's a very meticulous man, unlike me, a different man. But he loved his Mark II, and I love this Mark II. Because it's a 240, it's cheaper than the bigger engine cars. But as an indication of just how practical this car is, they've been smoking about in it. A couple of weeks ago, it was used for a wedding. And it's very affordable, we think, because of the prejudice against a smaller engine. £6,000 to £8,000 is the estimate on this lovely. If you had a 60s saloon from anyone, from Germany, from Italy, from America, from England, what would you have? You'd have a Mark II Jag, wouldn't you? But the bigger engine ones can be expensive. £6,000 to £8,000 on this lovely Mark II. In Old English white with red leather, a great combination. No, it hasn't got wire wheels. No, it's not the posh one. But that's reflected in the price. So get registered and get bidding on this car in our sale. Now, I know it looks like a Lamborghini Murcielago. That's how you pronounce it. Not Murcielago. Murcielago. You've got to do that. You've got to do the Catalan th. But it's not. It's a replica. Kind of a replica. Because a lot of it is Lamborghini. The seats are Lamborghini. The wheels are Forgiato alloys with Michelin Pilot Sports on them, as fitted to a Murcielago. It's an MR2, but it's a lengthened MR2, because, of course, if it was an MR2, it wouldn't be nearly as long as it should be. So it's been lengthened. And in the back, or in the middle, the V8 out of a Lamborghini, out of an Audi. Of course, Audi and Lamborghini now part of the same group, you know. So it's just borrowing it from a brother, really, isn't it? S8. Now, an S8, I've looked it up. It's about 365 brake horsepower as standard, but it's not even standard. Yes, it's a replica. Yes, it's a homage. No, it's not a real Murcielago, but look at the price. And imagine how much work you'd have to do. How much blood, sweat and tears to get it to that condition. The estimate on that is £25,000 to £35,000, a fraction of what it would cost for a real one. You may have feelings about replicas, about homages, about tributes. I just think most people will be conned by it. And if you're going past them in the street and it's making the right noise, who cares? Just tell them it is a Lamborghini. Don't even mention the replica bit. £25,000 to £35,000 for somebody else's blood, sweat and tears. Go on, you know you want to. Just say this. Dum, dum, dum. Da, 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 da. Yes. There might be a voice off in just a second from somebody who thinks he knows more than me. Bergerac. It's a Triumph Roadster, 1949. A rare vine find. Look at this, come close. This is a proper vine find. Look, you can tell. You can't add all of these like decades of spider webs and whatnot that's all caught up with bits of twig and straw. Proper barn find, this one. A rare car, a classic British sports car. They only built 2,000 of these. Hand-built they were as well, these Triumphs. And these feature the larger 2088cc Vanguard engine with a 3-speed gearbox. I drove one of these in a hill climb once, and it had a big supercharger on it. And the owner said to me, because he was sat next to me, give it some welly. So I did. At which point, the supercharger detached itself from the motor car and went flying across Yorkshire, nearly taking out a couple of the marshals. It was a memorable day for all of us. He had the grace to say, well, I did tell you to give it some welly. I said, you did? Look what happened. Anyway, it probably won't happen with this one. It needs a total restoration. That much should be obvious. But look over here. We've got a ton of space to go with it, including 2 sets of wings, 1 set of fiberglass wings, which is a popular way of getting these back on the road back in the day. And we've got a set of steel wings. It came from a private collection. It's currently in pieces, rather obviously. We've got a factory history folder, the current M5 and the workshop manuals, and our favourite 2 words in the whole wide world, no reserve. No reserve on this one. You could be like that John Nettles fella. I saw him in the taxi queue at Euston Station once, and he was trying to be incognito. He was wearing a bucket hat and dark glasses, and I thought, that's Bergerac. So I went, hey, look everyone, Bergerac in the bucket hat and the dark glasses. looked at me like that. Anyway, no reserve on that one, the Triumph Roadster. By the way, if I've got it completely wrong and it wasn't the Triumph Roadster, I think it was in Bergerac, do tell me, do put me right in the comments underneath here. I'm sure you will. Right, let's have a look at this now. Motorcycles, over here. Walk this way, young man. Right, now this is a classic. Some bikes are old and some bikes are classic. And this is a classic. The Yamaha RD400. My dad had one, briefly. His was yellow with black speed blocks. This is white with red speed blocks. A handsome motorcycle and a performance icon in its time. Air-cooled, made from 76 to 79, evolving from the 350. It features a 6-speed gearbox, self-cancelling indicators. Most people who bought them weren't that bothered about the self-cancelling indicators. What they were bothered about was the ring-a-ding-ding-ding-ding-ding, the cloud of blue smoke that went out behind you as you annihilated everything else that might be on the road at the same time. This one is very, very nice. It's in excellent condition. We reckon £6,000 to £9,000. They are super collectible. The 250 less so, but this one, the 400, that's where the smart money goes. £6,000 to £9,000 on the Yamaha RD. Now, sticking with two wheels, look at that. I had one of these on long-term loan from Honda back in the day, and it really wasn't my cup of tea, I thought, because I'm more of a sort of super sports kind of a guy. I'm more like this or its modern equivalent. However, I'm Catholic by upbringing and taste, and so I had one of these on long-term loan, and I bloody loved it. It was great. It was like a Harley Davidson, except it was faster, and the brakes worked, and it went round corners. VTX 1800C, it's from 2003. That is a lot of motorcycle. Look at it, twin cylinder. Yes, it's trying to look like a Harley. And here's the thing, if you really don't like your significant other, you've got completely separate seating arrangements. Look at that. There's no need to get up close and personal with, you know, her indoors. Well, she'd be her outdoors if she was on this, wouldn't she? But, you know, on the back there, you've got your own backrest. That is comfort. That is American-style comfort on a Japanese motorcycle. And the price is unbelievable. £2,500 to £3,500 is our estimate on the Honda VTX 1800C. AJS, one of the great names in British motorcycling. This is a 354 stroke, the Model 16, a popular British classic. Yeah, the car equivalent would be something like that Triumph Roadster we've just been talking about. It wasn't, you know, a Jaguar or a Bentley or a Rolls Royce, but it wasn't an Austin. You know, it was in the middle, an AJS 350. It was popular during the mid-50s. I think Marlon Brando, am I getting this right? I'm getting it wrong. It wasn't a Matchless, it was a Triumph. Forget I mentioned Marlon Brando for all kinds of reasons. This example of the single-cylinder jam pot, yeah, that's what they called it, suspension is in good condition. Because, yeah, look at the back, the suspension there. They said, the suspension looks like a jam pot there. Can't believe how cheap it is. 1955, you could get on it and ride it as it is. Fantastic. A great opportunity. 1,000 to 1,500 quid, our estimate on that 1955 AJS 350. And that's all she said.